Good morning, guys. This is Miss Carasolis. I'm doing the Unit 8 review. The Unit 8 review is posted on Schoology, so make sure that you get that PDF, write it on a blank sheet of paper, or print it out if you want a printed copy. But here we go. So Unit 8 review. Things you need to know. Difference of squares. So does it have an even exponent, a minus sign, and can I take the square root? X method with grouping, does it have a number before the x squared? GCF, check that on everything first. When you add or subtract fractions, those have to have common denominators. When you are multiplying and dividing fractions, you need to multiply straight across. Remember, dividing, you are keep, change, flipping, so KCF. Let's go ahead and get on to problem number 1. So problem number 1, we are just simplifying. There's no equal sign. There's no plus after the fraction. So it is just straight simplifying. So here we go. First thing I'm going to do is factor the top and bottom. So 16K minus 24. It's looking like it has a GCF because I don't have any exponents. So therefore I can take out a GCF. For 16 and 24, they're both even, so I could use 2. However, I could use 4, and I could use 8, so 8 is my largest. So now I'm going to have 8. 16 divided by 8 is 2K minus 3, because 24 divided by 8 is 3. So that is going on the top of my rational expression or fraction. Bottom, I have 6K squared minus 13K plus 6. I am doing X method with grouping because of this number right here. So X method with grouping, I am multiplying A times C. 36 on top, B is on bottom, so negative 13. Two numbers that multiply to give me 36 but add to give me negative 13 would be negative 9 and negative 4. So let's go ahead and put those back. I keep my first term the same, last term the same. I am really just breaking up this middle term to minus 9K, minus 4K. At this point, I can group because it's 4 terms. So first 2 go together, last 2 go together. Let's take out the GCF of both. The GCF of 6 and 9 are 3, and K squared and K is K. GCF of negative 4 and 6 would be negative 2. How do I know that it's a negative 2 and not just 2? It's because this is negative right here. Anytime my first number is negative, my GCF is negative. So 3K leaves me with 2K minus 3 minus 2 leaves me with 2K minus 3. Since I got the same thing here and here, I know that my factors are right. I am taking these two, putting them in their own parentheses, and then my other 2 just become 1 because they are the same right there. So that is going on the bottom of my fraction. 3K minus 2 and 2K minus 3. Let's go ahead and simplify what we can. 2K minus 3 crosses out. I'm left with 8 over 3K minus 2. Final answer. I have nothing left to simplify because I have a minus sign on the bottom, so I can't really do anything else. I have no more parentheses left. Let's go to the next question. If you need to pause or rewatch or slow that down, go ahead. I'm going on to number 2, which is an addition problem. So addition, I need to have a common denominator. Okay, so a common denominator, I see that right here, the first fraction, I've got y squared minus 49. Second one, I've got y plus 7. So I need to figure out how to make these the same. I'm going to go ahead and start by factoring y squared minus 49. This is a difference of squares because it's got an even exponent and a minus sign, and I can take the square root of 49. So y plus 7, y minus 7. How do I make the other side have y minus 7? I multiply by y minus 7. And that goes to the top and bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and write it right here also, just so it makes more sense. So I'm distributing 2y minus, let me erase that, put it lower. So 2y minus 14 over y plus 7, y minus 7, plus sign, y squared plus y minus 14 over y plus 7, y minus 7. Okay, before I can do anything else, I've got to go ahead and add these two. So y plus 7, y minus 7 on bottom. On top, I've got y squared. 1y and 2y make 3y. Negative 14 and negative 14 make negative 28. So now that I've got that, I can go ahead and do x method to the top, just so we can see if something can cancel out. So I've got negative 28 and 3. Two numbers that multiply to negative 28 but add to 3 would be 7 and negative 4. Let's go ahead and rewrite. So y plus 7, y minus 4 over y plus 7, y minus 7. Take out anything that's the same, which would be these y plus 7s. So I'm left with y minus 4 over y minus 7. I cannot cancel out those y's because they have minus signs after them. So that would be our final answer. On to the next. Okay, next one is also a simplifying. This one, if we look at it, we've got two trinomials with leading coefficients. Therefore, we have to do x method by grouping. So let's go ahead and start. And if I look across the top, and I look across the bottom, I can see that neither of those have GCFs. So therefore, I can just go ahead and start x method. So I'm going to make two separate problems. First one, I've got A times C, so 4 times 9 on top, 36, negative 12 on bottom. Second one, I've got 2 times negative 27, so negative 54 on top, 15 on bottom. Two numbers that multiply to 36 but add to negative 12 are going to be negative 6 and negative 6. Two numbers that multiply to negative 54 but add to positive 15 are positive 18 and negative 3. So let's go ahead and put 4n squared, because our first term and last term are staying the same. Just breaking up that middle term. So 2n squared plus 18n minus 3n minus 27. Now we are grouping. Group, 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 group. Okay, GCF of each one. So first one, 2n. Second one, I've got a negative 6, so a negative 3. 2n. I am left with 4n squared divided by 2n would be 2n. Negative 6n divided by 2n would be negative 3. Negative 6n divided by negative 3 is 2n. 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. And I forgot to put negative 3 right here, my fault. So put 2n minus 3 in one parentheses, 2n minus 3. This one worked out nicely because it was the same thing. This side, I am taking out 2n. This side, negative 3. 2n squared divided by 2n is going to be n. 18n divided by 2n plus 9. Negative 3n divided by negative 3, n Negative 27 divided by negative 3 plus 9. So 2n minus 3. And n plus 9. Let's go ahead and put that back into our fraction. So I've got 2n minus 3. 2n minus 3. I've got 2n minus 3 again. And n plus 9. So crossing out anything that's the same. Let's go ahead and cross out, cross out. So I've got 2n minus 3 over n plus 9, and that is all I can do. So I'm good to go. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question, number 4. A subtraction problem. So remember, I have common denominators already, so I'm actually good to start. Just remember that your minus sign affects anything up here. Okay, so then I have p minus 1 on bottom, 6p minus p, because it's going to be minus p minus 5. 6p minus p is 5p minus 5. On top, I can take out a GCF of 5. I'm left with p minus 1. So 5p minus 1 over p minus 1. Take out, and I am left with just positive 5. That one was pretty easy. Let's go to the next one. So this one's kind of hard to tell, but it is a division problem. So this is a division sign. So let's go ahead and start. We are going to first factor everything, and then we'll keep, change, flip. So let's go ahead and factor 5w squared plus 20w. I think it has a GCF of 5w. So we're left with w plus 4. That is going on the top. And remember, this needs to be switched to negative w squared plus 16. So negative w squared plus 16. First thing we need to do is take out a negative 1. The reason why is because we want a difference of squares. And if I don't have a minus sign, it's not a difference of squares. So now that I have a difference of squares, I've got an even exponent, minus sign, and I can take the square root of 16. It's negative 1, w plus 4, w minus 4. Don't forget the negative 1. Okay, changing our division sign to a multiplication sign. I am flipping. I don't do anything with 15w squared, so I'm just going to put that at the bottom. W squared minus 11w plus 28 is X method without grouping because there's no number in front of the w squared. So two numbers that multiply to 28 but add to negative 11 would be negative 7 and negative 4. So I've got w minus 7, w minus 4. Cross out anything that's the same. This w squared. Okay, 5 over 15 can simplify to 1/3. So on top, I just have w minus 7. On bottom, I've got negative 1 times 3w. So w minus 7 over negative 3w, or you could have negative w minus 7 over 3w. These are both the same thing. And in case you're not sure how I got the 3, it is 5 over 15. That is equal to 1/3. Okay, next one. Oh gosh, this one's a heavy problem. It's just got a lot to it. I already see that I have leading coefficients on the trinomials. So that means that I am doing X method by grouping 3 times. And then that 12c plus 54 looks like a GCF. They're both even. So let's go ahead and start. Let's make 3 x's and handle all of these trinomials first. So remember, it is a times c. So 6 times negative 63 is going to be negative 378. 13 on bottom. Next one, 6 times 7 is 42. Negative 17 on bottom. Next one, 2 times 4 is 8. Negative 9 on bottom. And then I'll do the 12c plus 54 in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the 8 and negative 9 because that is the smallest. It just makes the most sense to start with. So this would be negative 8 and negative 1. The 42, two numbers that multiply to 42 but add to negative 17, you can use your calculator. You could find your factors. If you don't remember how to find your factors, you could do 42 divided by 2, 42 divided by 3, 42 divided by 4, so on and so forth. I know that this is negative 3 and negative 14. Those add to give me negative 17. For negative 378, this is kind of a big number, but just again, find your factors, keep dividing until you can't divide anymore. This one would actually be 27 and negative 14. Right? Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and replace these. So first term, last term, and then I have plus 27c minus 14c. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this one first, and then I'll do the other two. So this one, 6c squared and 27c, the GCF would be 3c. Negative 14c and negative 63 would be negative 7 because that 14 is negative. So 3c. 6c squared divided by 3c is 2c. 27 divided by 3 is 9. Minus 7. Negative 14c divided by negative 7 is positive 2. Negative 63 divided by negative 7 would be 2c. And then positive 9. So 3c minus 7 and 2c plus 9. Okay, so that is actually going on top. So 3c minus 7, 2c plus 9. And I'm actually going to erase this so I have a little more space to do the next one. So if you didn't get that, just rewind, pause, and then go for it. So this one is 6c squared minus 3c minus 14c plus 7. And I am grouping. So right here I have 3c. Right here I have negative 7 because that 14 is negative. So 3c. 6c squared divided by 3c is 2c. Negative 3c divided by 3c is negative 1. Negative 7. Negative 14c divided by negative 7 is 2c. 7 divided by negative 7 minus 1. So I've got 3c minus 7 and 2c minus 1. And that goes right here on the bottom. Okay, multiply. We've got our next one. Again, I'm going to go ahead and erase this so I have some space to do my next one. Okay, next one, I've got 2c squared minus 8c minus 1c plus 4. Grouping, 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 GCF. So I am taking out 2c right here and negative 1 right here. 2c. It's going to be c minus 4 minus 1, c minus 4 again. So 2c minus 1 and c minus 4. Okay, that was a lot. And then 12C plus 54 is a GCF because they're both even. So I know I could take out an even GCF. I could take out a 2, potentially a 4. But I actually can take out 6. So 6 would be my GCF. And then I'm left with 2C plus 9. So 6, 2C plus 9. Okay, now it's just the matching game. Get rid of those, get rid of these, get rid of these. So I'm left with C minus 4 over 6. Can't do anything else with the 4 and 6 because I have a minus sign after that C, and that is my final answer. So a lot of work, but it's okay. Next one, we're moving on to an equation. And I think we only have 2 more problems, so this should go a little quick. Okay, so equation. When we see an equal sign means cross multiply. Okay, so equal sign means cross multiply. So we are cross multiplying. So 2 times 4x is 8x. X plus 4 and x minus 6, we're going to actually FOIL. And we end up with x squared plus 4x minus 6x minus 24 equals 8x. Let's go ahead and combine like terms. So x squared minus 2x minus 24. Remember, this is one of those ones where we want it to equal 0, so I'm actually going to move this over here by negative 8x, negative 8x. So I get 0 equals x squared, negative 10x, minus 24. Let's go ahead and do x method. Negative 24 and negative 10. 2 numbers that give me negative 24, but add to give me negative 10 are negative 12 and 2. And there is no leading coefficient, so I end up with x minus 12 and x plus 2 equals 0. You can put the 0 on either side. Remember, I am now splitting this into 2 problems. 2 equals 0. I'm solving each one. And these are my 2 answers. Remember, on some of these, for the cross multiplying, you could end up with only 1 answer, so just make sure. Typically, it's your highest exponent is what the most you can end up with. So the most I could end up with here, my exponent was 2, so 2 answers. And on to the last problem, which is an addition problem. So make sure you have common denominators. We do. So now we can just go ahead and add straight across. So 2x plus 3x is 5x, negative 13 minus 2 is negative 15. Let's go ahead and factor top and bottom. So 5x minus 15, GCF would be 5. So x minus 3. On bottom, I've got negative 36 and 9, and I am doing x method because it's a trinomial. So I have negative 3, positive 12, no leading coefficient, so no grouping on this one. So 5x minus 3 on top. On bottom, I've got x minus 3, x plus 12. Get rid of anything that's the same. I'm left with 5 over x plus 12. Oh, and I put 7. So 5 over x plus 12. And that is it. Okay, good luck on your test. I hope you do well.